Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm making a video that I was going to make in BT16. However, one of my Twitch viewers gifted me 5 subs to make this video basically now. So here we are today. We're going to talk about Magnamon X Antibody BT16 and the general concept of protection. Has it gone too far? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So before I get into my analysis and then decision, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, whether or not you think this is true or not. Do you think it's too far? Do you think it's not far enough? Do you think it's just fine? Let me know what you think. And it could be about protection in general or Magnamon X or whatever. You know, just keep your answers nice and all that. And then I will, don't worry, after I give you my whole story here, my whole analysis, I will give you my answer, and my answer is correct. So you don't have to fear. By the end of this video, you will have a correct answer, and that's good. You guys will get some solace and some finality to this, which is good. So what makes this card so crazy in people's brains? Well, it's a level 6, 3-colored blocker armor purge yellow vaccine that has Windage Evolving, if Magnamon X Body, or a card with the Armor Form traits is in this Digimon's Evolution cards. This Digimon isn't affected by your opponent's effects and gets 3000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. Then unsuspend this Digimon. If there was just that, no one would care, right? But it gets worse. As an all turns once per turn effect, when a card is removed from a security stack, you may activate one of this Digimon's Windage Evolving effects, which goes back to the first one, where you become unaffected by opponent's effects and get 3000 DP and unsuspend. Just like that. Just like that. Really, really easy to do. And you know what? Before I get too much into the combos of this card and whatever, we do have to talk about where protection came from, because we have to understand what happened. Now, the Twitch viewer who did get me to 5 subs did prompt from a video that some other YouTuber made. I did not watch the video in order to remain basically unbiased, because I wanted to give my own fresh perspective. But yeah, that's why we're here anyway. So let's do a case study, okay? So protection existed right from the beginning of the game, basically. Something like Diaboromon, which had an earlier form of decoy, which then later came out in BT6 or 7, I can't remember which one. But all turns, when this Digimon will be deleted in battle, you may delete one of your opponent's Diaboromon to prevent one of your other Diaboromon to prevent this Digimon from being deleted. So yeah, the thing would be killed by battle, delete a token instead. That was that was the earliest form of protection. That was it. It was good. It was nice. And then one set later, Craniumon came out. Or 2 sets later, depending if you were in... Or no, 1 set later, I was right. Yep. Craniumon. Craniumon's a cool card. It has blocker. But also, all turns, your Digimon blocker can't be deleted by opponent's effects. So they could be deleted by battle, but all blockers, Craniumon included, couldn't be Gaia Forced, couldn't be Trump sorted. Like, that was really good. It could still be DP reduced or de-evolved, but like you couldn't just like blow it up like that. BT1 Omni couldn't do the job. So that's pretty cool. That was nice protection. And then we move all the way on to BT5, where we had a couple Omnimon cards that came in. This one, Blitz Omni, has an alternate effect that reads if an opponent's effect would delete this Digimon or return to the hand or deck. You may prevent it from leaving play by trashing a level 6 Digimon card in this card's Digivolution cards. So, like, it could be deleted by battle, and it could be de-evolved, and it could be DP reduced. But, like, if you were going to Gaia Force it or whatever, you couldn't do that. Or if you're going to blow it up with a Zord Defeat, you couldn't do that. So, like, that was a great card. Great protection, not once per turn either. I mean, it was very, very unlikely that you could use this card more than once unless you were playing, like, Shoutmon or something. But that's where we were. This next card here, I don't classify it as protection. You see, I come from a Yu-Gi-Oh background, and in Yu-Gi-Oh, you have cards that did say, this card is unaffected by X. And then you also had cards that said, when your opponent activates a card, negate it. Negate that activation. So like in Yu-Gi-Oh, protection and negates are 2 separate things. This guy negates attacks by stripping 2 sources. So if you count that as protection or not, I'm just throwing it in there just to show you in BT5, it did come out. It was a thing that happened. So count that, don't count that, whatever. I'm just throwing it in for the analysis sake. EX1, we got Machine Dramon. a big boss monster where at the time was annoying to deal with because it couldn't be DP reduced. And if it would be deleted by anything, you could trash 2 level 5 cards in the sources to randomly deleted. Really good card. Couldn't be DP reduced, which was something that protection was sorely lacking in the game. However, you could Digivolve it and you could bounce it with something like a Kai's Breath. So, like, not a really big deal. You could also source strip the sources, which became a really big thing in BT7 one set later with Blue Hybrid. Strip the sources, all of a sudden you can kill it by a card effect or by battle. So, like, not a big deal. But it was like a boss monster that was just immune to a lot of stuff and was annoying to deal with. Anyway, and then the decoy side, BT8 comes out and we get Armor Purge. In effect, that reads, if it would be destroyed, you can, or deleted, I guess, you can strip the top card to run deletion. So like if you have Vmon on top of Magnamon and they try to kill Magnamon by battle, you can strip the Magnamon away, just leave the Vmon, and it will not be deleted. Really cool gimmick. Again, not affected by Digivolve Bounce or DP reduction, but, you know, little cool protection gimmick there. Now, protection didn't really get a bad rep until BT9 came out. BT9 gave us Greymon X and Garurumon X. One gave immune to battle by stripping 2 sources at the same level, and this one gave immunity to deletion by card effect or bounce by trashing 2 cards at the same level. There were still things that you could do to these cards consistently, like DP Reduce, Digivolve. You could also bounce into security, something like Chaos Degradation. That worked, right? But this is where protection really started to get off the handles because people were starting to get all pissy that a Garurumon deck could run through your opponent's whole security, not get destroyed by battle because of its inheritables, and then win the game. That was where it really annoying, right? And then Greymon TCG basically pivoted off of this point because you had Greymon stacks that couldn't be blown up. And then got way worse in BT11 with Greymon X. This was an easier form of the same protection in the sense that you could just stick exit ability underneath the card, and that's it. That's really cool. It's easier to strip 1 card than 2, honestly. And it also didn't like punish you for not building the right stack or whatever. You could just have this card, the next antibody card, which your deck rewarded you for having anyway, so you play a few copies of it, and you're good to go. Not to mention BT11 also gave us Yuya, which gave your Greymon deck inherent protection from options. And it gave Metal Grey X, which for the turn gave you prevention from DP and the Digivolve, I think. So, like, a lot of protections for the Greymon deck. And then it's, like, stopped coming as well. Like, it was just annoying. Okay, fine. So, there we are with that. And now, there were other forms of protection later in the game, whatever, okay. But nothing that crazy, nothing that level, until Magnamon X Antibody. So, now that we've gone through the course of history, why does this card even exist in the first place? Well, it exists because when you power creep only goes one direction, and that is forward. Power creep always goes forward, and the reason why is because if power creep goes backwards, why will anyone buy the next set, right? If BT16 was just worse than BT15, would people buy BT16 like they bought BT15? The answer is no, because there'd be no reason to, right? Unless there was something specifically in the set that you wanted. No reason to, right? So power creep has to keep moving on. And that's why we are here today. That's why we were talking about Magnamon X Antibody. Because Bandai decided that the Digimon trading card game should have protection on its cards. And power creep is inevitable, like Thanos. And here we are. We are now here to BT16 with a card that can basically be immune as soon as your starter main phase happens if you're playing Yellow Vaccine. Because this card triggers as soon as a card is removed from anyone's security, right? You could start a main phase Patamon BT14, evolve into a level 4 vaccine, and just like that, your Magnamon X is unaffected, right at the start of the main phase. It's pretty good. Also, you can self-proc it with your own things, like Blinding Ray or Barrier. You could do that. Absolutely. Or Andromon Ace, or whatever else. You know, there's lots of ways to do it. Again, I give yellow cards because this is a yellow card, basically. I'm not too many people care about the blue side unless we're playing Armor Purge, which is just worse. Or the black side, which I don't know anyone that's getting into. Seriously. It's really just Yellow Vaccine and Armor Rush that are your main contenders for this card's love and affection. So, I do not think this card is a big deal. Well, you might say, well, Mario, are you stupid in the head or something? You just spent the whole time building up this card, making it seem like the next coming of Jesus. What are you talking about? Well, let me tell you. This card is very easy to deal with. Maybe it's the turn that evolves. Fine, fair enough. But even so, there's ways that you can get around this card. For example, you can attack it. Yeah, it's unaffected by, you can affect it by battle. It's just unaffected by opponent's effects. So like you can run into it with battle. You can use a War Greymon or whatever and raid into it. That's like something you can do, right? It's not really a big deal, okay? Sure. You can use cards like Venusmon that read when Digivolving, give your opponents everything a sec -1 modifier, and then all Venusmons on the board, they can't activate when Digivolving's effects. That means if they were to, try to activate the old turn's effect to use a Wind Digivolving effect, it can't do that anymore if it's been Venusmon, because that's a global process. You just can't do that, right? Not to mention, if you haven't trashed security yet this turn, this card attacks into security and it hits a Wonky or a Chaos Dagger, whatever, anything, it's dead. Simple. Simply put. And there's like other things you could do to it too. You could play this, I guess you could play the source strip game and like strip its sources if you had a way to do that. Maybe like Zudomon Ace, for example. Yeah, your Magnamon X attacks, you go into Zudomon Ace hand trap, you strip the armor form sources. Okay, if it hits security, no problem, but it doesn't proc anymore, and then you're good to go, right? Anyway, I'm just giving you a few answers on how to reliably deal with this card. And like, I didn't even think about it for that long. I know that every color has a way to deal with this card. I know. Now, that being said, it is still a tier 1 card. The deck is still tier 1. You will see this card in the metagame, and you will have games where you like draw your opening hand of 6 cards if you're going second, I guess. And you don't draw your answer, and you keep drawing cards, and you keep drawing cards, and you keep drawing cards, and you just cannot answer this card. You will have hands where that happens. I've done testing against this deck already. I've started BT16 testing this week, actually. There are, sometimes, there is nothing you can do. But that's not this card's problem. That's a Digimon problem. We have decks that don't care about your feelings. They don't give a fuck. You can just get high rolled by turn 2 Blue Flare, turn 3 Red Hybrid, turn 3 Ukumon Rush stuff. You can get Venusmon and not be able to play the game at all, depending on what deck you're playing. Digimon has a big problem, in my opinion, where you can play whatever you want, sure, but you might not be able to do a single thing to your opponent because of the way the game is designed. And that's a game problem. That's not a Magnamon X problem. Magnamon X is just a factor of the problem that Bandai has made. But even so, this card is good, but it's nothing to be concerned about as long as you know what you're getting into. If you can just plan around it and have a deck with a strategy to beat it, or have cards in there to beat it, you're fine. You're literally fine. In testing, while I do have hands where I don't draw my outs, I have hands where I kill this card easily. Like, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? It's not an issue. So, one final point. I'm going to leave you on what might be a somber note for some of you people. If some of you people think that this card is a problem, if this card is making you think, I don't even want to play Digimon anymore, fuck this card, I'm done. This is a big problem. Remember what I said earlier, power creep only goes one direction, and that is forward. So if you think that this card's a problem, I would hate to talk to you in BT 20, whatever, 22, or whatever set it is, where we get the next big, annoying boss monster protection card that basically just reads, nope. And then you're like, well, fuck, this card makes Magnamon X look like chump change. It's coming. And if that scares you, this might not be the game for you. Because let me tell you, it is coming. And when it does come, it'll come very hard. I'm gonna stop there. But I think you guys know where I'm going with this. This card is strong, absolutely, but it's workable. You can deal with it. But power creep will make this card look like a joke in future sets. What do you guys think about my analysis on this and protection in general? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you later. Bye.